Morning everybody. It's Sunday morning. It was pretty cold last night. I think it was down at 3 or 4 degrees. I was at my limit. I've got my jumper on, my hat on, my thick pajamas and my woolly socks. And I was still feeling the cold. So we will see. It's going to be even colder for the next 2 days. So this morning I'm going to get up. We're going to make a cup of tea, get some porridge inside me and warmed up. So join us. See how we get on. It's bright and early. It's 4 degrees. I've certainly found my temperature limit of all my gear. I wouldn't want it to be any colder than that. So I'm going to get me a cup of tea on. First job, most important job of the day, with my little stove. So we're going to head south again. It might not be much warmer. It's forecast to be cold because of this cold weather that's coming through. But we're just going to deal with it, that's all. So the plan is to chew down the E6 Arctic Highway to Stordal, and then turn off onto the 705 tourist route, and we'll take that down to Tynset. So that's it. I'm going to get my porridge sorted out, get my tea sorted out, get packed up and get out of here and on the road. So while I was quietly trying to do my morning routine, a madman from the other side of the campsite came over and he wouldn't leave me alone, so I thought, right, I'll give him his 2 minutes of fame.
Hang on. I'm a Trønder. I'm living in Trøndelag, around Trøndelag, everywhere. I'm moving around with the mobile home. And I love rock and roll music, and I love women. And I love foreigners who drive motorbikes or bicycles or mobile home, come from everywhere. I love them. Well, that's half an hour of my life I'll never get back. So he's the local loony, it seems. So he's from Trondheim, but he's travelling and he doesn't have a house anymore and he lives in his camper. I know far too much about his Polish girlfriend now. Yes, that was excruciating detail that I'm not sure I needed to know. But he seems very happy that at age 54 he's got several girlfriends in several different places, and basically it seems he just travels around in his van between them all. So the round Polish lady lives in Grong, who's here. Now, I'm not sure if these exist in his imagination or the internet or for real. But yeah, clearly he's clinically insane, and he shouldn't be out in the community. Oh, God, that was painful. The reason is the people that are camped next to him is obviously driven insane over the last couple of days being camped here. And it turns out that as soon as I drove in and parked over here on the bike, they said to him something like, "You talk too much, why don't you go and talk with the English bloke over there?" And of course, since then, he hasn't left me alone. Have another cup of tea and get the tent down and get out of here. That's the plan, before he comes back over again. I think this is about the fastest I've ever packed the tent up, but I wanted to get out of there as fast as I could. That's it, we're packed up, ready to go. I'm going to try and sneak out before that guy comes back. So Wilbur's in a good mood and fires straight up. That's it, we can get ourselves out of here. So that's it, incognito mode engaged. So whilst I was getting out of here, it was funny because he had his motorhome doors open and he was playing Twisted Sister as loud as he could whilst singing along in an opera style. It's onto the E6 for us, and it's only a couple of kilometres up this dirt road from the campsite. That's the E6 we've got coming up here. And then we can get heading south, but the sky's looking a bit threatening there. But it was a pretty cold, wet ride, I can tell you that. The traffic was busy in places, and as usual you've got trucks and barriers and stuff.
Well, anyway, this is Stordal, and it's actually the outskirts of Trondheim Airport, even though it's 10 kilometres from there. I was cold. We'd been through some awful rainstorms that I couldn't video because I didn't want to get water in the camera, and this seemed a great place to stop. You've no idea how glad I was to see that Shell station. My hands and feet went numb an hour ago, and we'll talk about the E6 later. After that ride this morning, the Shell petrol station was like an oasis, because the Shell ones are the best because they have the bakeries and they have the hot food and coffee machines and everything else you could want. And that ride this morning, how long has it taken? It's taken 9:15, about 2 3/4 hours I did that non-stop. That really was a test of endurance. That E6, I dislike the E6, I dislike it even more now. It's just a dangerous road. But the further south you getting towards Trondheim, there's fixed speed cameras, there's average speed cameras, there's lots of it that's 60 and 70 limits. The traffic gets worse, the weather got worse, and even more than that, there's long sections of it where you've got Amco barriers on both sides of your lane and it's a single carriageway. So if you break down, you're stuffed, you can't get off it because it's Amco barriers on both sides, and if something goes wrong with the bike and it spits you off, you're straight into the Amco barriers because there's nowhere else to go. So I really dislike that road. I'm done with it. So I sat there and ate hot dogs and drank coffee until a big rain shower went through. You can see how wet it's been, and we're back on the road again. So we're going to the top of the route 705, but there's somewhere we want to visit because the 705 runs north-south in the direction that we're doing it, of course. And it just so happens that if you take a very slight detour, it runs beside the Arctic Railway line, the one that runs all the way up the coast, and there's a very famous station there. And it seemed rude not to drop in, so we did. And I'm sure you've all heard about this place. We just had to do it. Well, it's almost sort of stopped raining for about 8 seconds, so I thought, well, we've got to do it, haven't we? We can now say we've been to hell and back. As cheesy as that is, and as touristy as it is, we are at Hell Station. The weather's crap. I'm not sure about hell being hot. It's cold, it's wet, and I'm going to jump on Wilbur and ride another 200k south this afternoon and try and get out of this weather. Anyway, Hell Station. So with that, we're back on the road. It's only a short run to the start of the 705 from the station here, and we can pick that up, and it is registered as one of Norway's tourist routes, and it's got its own website. But bizarrely enough, it's not on the actual National Tourist Routes official list, which surprised me, having done it. We set off, we were going to be dodging rain showers all day, I think, but when it rained, boy did it rain. And I was just hoping, as you do as a biker, that clear sky ahead, oh, it'll stop raining in 10 minutes, it'll stop raining in 10 minutes. And I just kept going, but there was times when the road, like here, there was rivers literally running down the road. And you think, oh, it can't get much wetter, but later on it does a bit. But we just kept going because the scenery later on is great, so just enjoy it. So having ridden through forests and beside lakes and down beside the rivers on all sorts of roads, we ended up here. I think this is the highest point, 914 metres, and we're out on open moorland. We really have, in this 100-kilometre run, seen it all. The scenery, simply amazing. Here to take a moment. We've just turned off the 705 T-Dal, the 705, the sign's there, it runs up there. It's 138 to Stordal, where we got this, the 705. What do you reckon to that? That was just a road to get me from somewhere to somewhere else. We had absolutely no idea it was like it was. It's wide, it's open, there's forests, there's mountains, there's almost no traffic, there's loads of motorbikes, and they're all Norwegian, I think. That road is Norway's best kept biking secret. Ride the 705, it's amazing. Great stuff. Right, I'm going to check my maps and we're going to get somewhere else. I'm still cold. It was 5 degrees going over the top there. We were up over 900 metres, as you'll have seen. So with that done, we're back on the road. We're heading towards Tynset, and there were some pretty dodgy cattle grids that have been put down on the road. Big potholes and jumps. You don't want to hit those too fast. But anyway, steady away. The sky's lifted. The roads are still empty, so we can just enjoy the ride to Tynset. So my actual idea was to ride about 20k past Tynset, but just riding past the town I thought, oh, that's an interesting wooden bridge, we'll go over that. And as I did, I saw Tynset camping here. So I thought, well, let's call in and have a look and see what it's like. So the lady's just coming down. We've got a troll, we've got a moose in the window, and there's a lady coming down. She said they got a small hut, so we'll see. Hut 5, that'll do nicely. And it's 5:30, good timing, get unpacked and get me boots dry. So welcome to Tynset camping. I can take a bit of a deep breath now. I put some dry socks on, dried my feet out, put my dry shoes on, and we're inside one of these cool little troll cabin things. They look pretty old, but that's cool because it's not new. I think that's what's good about it. These are these are made out of great big 6 or 8 inch thick wooden beams, and that's going to be toasty warm, and it's got one of the traditional bark and grass roofs and stuff, and that'll do us nicely. We've got the bridge over there. It's a pretty looking bridge, but anyway, this is Tynset camping. We've got the electric heater there, as you see. I've got the bike gear spread variously around that, drying out. It's particularly the boots. My boots got so wet in the first hour and they've stayed soaking wet all day. I don't understand how they can get so wet in 1 hour and then in 7 hours they don't dry. But anyway, there we are. We'll go through that later. So we've got 3 bunks in this one here. Obviously you've got to bring your own bedding, that's normal, but I've got my sleeping bag airing there and I've got my own pillow. That's all I need, that'll do me fine. We've got the little kitchenette, so I've got the pan of water on cooking. There's no kettle, so I'm just going to boil some water in that and make myself a cocoa, because I brought some cocoa so I can get myself warm. And that's it, and we've got our table and chairs. Yeah, while aimlessly wandering around the camping, I found a hut sign thing here, and I think you should have a look. I didn't know this was here. There, Trondheim. It claims to be Norway's second highest road at 1,666 metres above sea level. The second highest car road takes you all the way to the top of Trondheim, and it was built to put radio and TV transmitters up. Today the road is used by tourists in the summer months. Self-service toll road, and the trip to the top from Alval centre is 13 kilometres. Well, it would be rude not to do that, wouldn't it? Harry Ferguson, Coventry. Oh, maybe it is a Ferguson. It must be a Triumph engine. Oh, it's a Triumph TR3A with big wheels at the back. Well, fancy that. The things you find. So that's Trondheim, which is where we started, and if you look, the 705 is this road here. That's the one we took earlier. And then we came across to Reros, which is a UN listed heritage site, and all we saw was the petrol station. And we are now in Tynset. So tonight's culinary delight, cooked within our troll cabin, is a joint effort. It's a team effort tonight between myself and my good friend Uncle Ben. Whole grain spicy Mexican. Oh, it smells good. I've got no fish to put in it tonight though. This is a I was going to say it's a vegetarian day, but I had a hot dog for lunch, so that doesn't really count, does it? It looks like good weather tomorrow. It's going to be cold, but it's going to be clear, so we should get some good views, and we're going to get ourselves up some mountain passes. That rice was delicious. So after that, it was out to give Wilbur his evening service, get all that finished so it's ready for the morning. And then I thought we'll have a wander over and have a look at the bridge. So it's a triple arch bridge, and the entire superstructure of the bridge is made out of wood, including the cross beams that carry the deck. It's quite impressive. It was good to see. That the 705. What a treat. There was only what I saw was Norwegian bikers. Obviously this is Sunday today, so I guess the bike clubs are out riding, and there was a lot of bikers on that road. What a great road. That should be on the top 10 roads in Norway as far as I'm concerned. What do we score that road? I mean, I wasn't going to score it. It's the 705. I'm not even sure it's got a name. I think the scenery wise it's pretty good. I think it's an 8 out of 10 for scenery, and I think it's an 8 out of 10 for road surface as well, because most of it was very good. That is an 8 out of 10 road, which puts it on our recommended list because it's 7 or above. So join us next time when we end up on forest tracks as we climb hills. We end up over a mile high at the Trondheim. It feels like the top of the world. Once we scrape the ice off things, we can see where we are, and the views are simply amazing. Probably the best we saw in our entire 3-week trip. After that, we're onto the Rondane route, which is equally spectacular in a totally different way. The views of the Blue Mountains and such like, amazing. And we finish off by visiting a 34-foot chrome moose. All that and more next time on Wilbur's Arctic Adventure.